The Casalesi Clan is a faction of the Camorra, an Italian criminal organization based in San Cipriano di Aversa in the Caserta region, between Naples and Latium. It is a confederation of clans in the Caserta region, founded by Antonio Bardellino. The Casalesi clan is thought to be one of the most prominent among the Camorra, specializing in construction but maintaining a lower profile than drug-dealing clans. In court documents, the Casalesi clan is notable for its hierarchical structure, which is comprised of a federation of groups connected to a centralized administration system and a collective budget. Its founder, Antonio Bardellino, was a first-generation Camorra leader who was a victor in the Camorra battle against Cudolo. He began to prosper by smuggling cocaine from South America and reinvesting his criminal earnings in the legitimate economy. He created a business-oriented Camorra model, helping him to reinvest laundered money and operate in complicated business systems, constructing huge and diverse external support networks, particularly in economic sectors connected to land use, construction, public procurement, and trash management. However, social and historical research on the Casalesi clan has consistently depicted it as a business-oriented mafia. Naples saw a large urban growth towards the hinterland during the beginning of the 1970s, resulting in the proliferation of shapeless and haphazard urban neighborhoods. The local governing elite's weakness resulted in extensive illicit construction projects and an underground economy. In this context, the Casalesi clan's first chance to invest its collected money was in the private and public building industries. They leveraged their capillary infiltration into the public sector to solidify their modus operandi as a legitimate business. Clan members, usually at the top of the hierarchy, invested capital acquired through extortion and illicit activities in legal construction firms. The Federation's main families built significant legitimate enterprises in the region during this period, and they increased their efforts to dominate the public tender process. They created a network of external links, which included influence over local governments. As a result, the Casalesi clan has firmly established itself within a larger network of public and private entities. Members of the Schiavone family, who were already active in the cement business, expanded their interests into the mozzarella industry and, later, into the transportation sector, beginning in the late 1980s. Another Camorra family, the Zagarias, found fortune in the building sector as well. They also diversified their business portfolio by investing in agriculture and food, as well as real estate speculation. The clearest evidence of the entrepreneurial attitude of Camorra clans in the province of Caserta is Pasquale Zagaria. Pasquale owned Edelmotor, which had a compact management structure with a strong business orientation, as in the case of the Casalesi clan, or Nuvoletta, Alfieri, and Galasso. The second, which is deeply rooted in Naples districts and boroughs, appears to be less capable of controlling the economic and institutional context, as in the case of the Casalesi clan, or Nuvoletta, Alfieri, and Galasso. It is one of the two most powerful clans in the diarchy, which is now dominated by the Casalesi clan. The Schiavones, as well as the Zagaria and Iovine clans, directly control the dairy factories, impose their goods as a monopoly, and operate unlawfully by utilizing buffalo milk from locations beyond the DOP territory, turning mozzarella cheese DOP of Caserta a big moneymaker. The Schiavones were able to control the majority of will transport to and from central and southern Italian vegetable markets by owning the firm La Paganese. He was effective in spreading the way Camorra clans controlled the legal and clandestine markets into other Italian provinces and into other market sectors, thanks to post-earthquake tenders. But what really grew in strength during the Casalesi's infiltration into the public tenders process was its network of connections, which began with its control over local governments and progressed to managing all segments of society in a single criminal scheme. So much so that it is possible to say that the Casalesi clan's true strength lies in the network of collusion and complicity that they have managed to build up over the years. From this vantage point, the Casalesi family is deeply embedded into a larger network of public and private players. The waste disposal industry may appear insignificant in contrast to these extensive, unregulated, and illegal construction projects, but it is the most recent manifestation of a criminal economic control model that profits by exploiting local territory and taking advantage of public institutions that manage local land planning decisions. Garbage management provides an ideal setting for criminal activities due to unclear rules between the public and private sectors, with clan firms operating in both legal and illicit markets, and the state, which is frequently subject to camorra pressure and control. Local trash management has been shared by camorra clans and local politicians and administrations in places between Naples and Caserta. For example, they have jointly agreed on the future of waste disposal facilities, land use planning, and even urban and rural development. Construction. Before delving into the institutional and normative framework of the public construction sector, it is important to examine the two primary sources of post-war state funding, the Cassa del Mezzogiorno and the Post-Earthquake Rebuilding Fund. Following the first phase, 1950 to 1957, oriented at infrastructure development, the Cassa was reorganized top-down. 1958 to 1992 local councils obtained more authority in urban planning and management. They established local industrial development zones and council industrialization units, and they joined together to form public industrial development consortiums. The consortium's goals included the construction of public infrastructure, the planning of new urban projects, the provision of land, and the backing of market initiatives. These new governmental consortiums permitted private firms to participate. Companies linked to the Casalesi family were able to join the cement industry through these consortiums. This is when Antonio Bardellino, the Casalesi Clan's founder, emerged on the scene and developed the entrepreneurial mafia, pushing the formation of consortiums for the supply of sand, concrete, and construction materials. Later, these consortiums fell under the hands of organized crime, which gained total control of the construction industry in the Caserta area. He created CEDIC Consortium, a concrete manufacturing firm, in 1983. Bardellino gained a monopoly in the manufacture of building materials in the entire province of Caserta with this partnership. The consortium's firms, which paid large admission fees, were aided in securing bids and functioning in complete peace. By the end of the 1980s, the Casalesi firms had influenced public bids owing to their direct ties with local councils, according to the Spartacus sentence. All bids over 100 million lire were to be legally ascribed to firms that would then subcontract to the Casalesi clans. In other words, public works projects were assigned to major national industrial conglomerates, which were subsequently split into smaller lots and subcontracted to Casalesi-affiliated firms. In 1990, the CEDIC Consortium included approximately all of Caserta's cement manufacturing businesses. This resulted in a monopoly, which resulted in a massive price increase. Because the clan's businesses had a capillary influence over the area, circumventing the consortium structure was difficult. The regions of Teverola, Casalus, and Santa Maria la Fossa were given to Francesco Schiavoni, while Castel Volturno and the coast north of Naples were assigned to Walter Schiavoni, according to the Italian Parliamentary Anti-Mafia Committee. However, the consortium's position as a bookkeeper for the clan's earnings is arguably the most fascinating aspect of this story. The consortium, led by engineer G.H., who was clearly recruited by the clan, was able to collect bribes on every sale of cement and equalize the earnings of its members by compelling clients to buy cement from particular businesses. The Casalesi clan managed to grip the reins of supply and demand by controlling the sale of cement, forcing every firm in the industry to finance the clan directly, entirely altering the laws of the market. This approach was certainly helpful in getting funds for the post-earthquake reconstruction work. Between 1983 and 1991, the consortium sold up to 819 billion lire, about 400 million euros, which was divided among the different construction firms affiliated to or wholly owned by Camorra clans. Through the colonization of the cement industry, the Casalesi dynasty rose to prominence as the region's primary infrastructure constructor. Local clans were in charge of the building of the jail and the tribunal in Santa Maria Capua Vetere, as well as the bids for the maintenance of Regi Lagni, the Nola Villa Laterno through route, and the A1 highway between Rome and Naples. Camorra rules evolve in close partnership with a broad network of relationships. These networks, which extend out to and interact with local governments all across the country, illustrate the political side of mafia power, which coexists with brutality and military control over the land. In both situations, we've seen how the Casalesi clan's empire is divided geographically and governed by local leaders who can't be ignored by businesses. This governance style has had a disastrous impact on land development, with cement and rubbish serving as the primary distinguishing elements of the topography of Naples' metropolitan metropolis. History of the clan. In the 1980s, Bardellino understood that cocaine, not heroin, would be the more profitable substance, and he created a trafficking network that smuggled it from Latin America to Aversa through a fish flour import-export firm. Heroin was also trafficked, with shipments to the Gambino crime family hidden within espresso filters. During the 1980s Camorra conflict, the Casalesi supported Nuova Famiglia against Raffaele Cudolo. In one instance, Casalesi members set up a machine gun on a hill in Ponte Anichino and opened fire, killing 4 Cudolo members. Antonio Bardellino moved to Santo Domingo with his family after the Casalesi gained power in their region following Cudolo's loss. However, discontent arose among the Casalesi. Francesco Schiavone and Francesco Baidignetti oversaw the clan's combat operations, and they considered Bardellino's right-hand man Mario Iovine was too close to Bardellino but did not approve of their ambitions for autonomy. They persuaded Bardellino to order the murder of Iovine's brother and then informed Iovine that Bardellino killed his brother only based on a rumor. In revenge, Iovine killed Bardellino in his Brazilian house in 1988, meeting him under the pretext of discussing their cocaine business. Following it, several persons loyal to Bardellino were assassinated. Francesco Schiavone took over as leader. Another battle began in the early 1990s between Schiavone's men and those loyal to another boss, Vincenzo De Falco, who was assassinated in 1991. During this battle, Mario Iovine was assassinated by De Falco's men while in a telephone booth in Portugal. The conflict lasted 4 years. The clan was significantly active in the Naples waste management issue, which deposited hazardous garbage across Campania in the 1990s and 2000s. The clan's head, Gaetano Vassallo, acknowledged working for 20 years to pay local politicians and bureaucrats to secure their consent to dump toxic trash. Francesco Cicciariello Schiavone, Francesco Schiavone's cousin, was arrested in Poland in March 2004 and accused of 10 killings, 3 kidnappings, 9 attempted homicides, and extortion. Following his arrest, the Spartacus trial gathered all of the police investigations into the clan. More than 1,300 persons were probed, and 500 witnesses testified. After 10 years, the trial of 36 Casalesi clan members was finally ended on June 19, 2008. 5 persons connected in the case were murdered during the trial, including an interpreter. Death threats were made against a judge and 2 journalists. All suspects were found guilty, and 16 will never be freed. Francesco Schiavone, his deputy, Francesco Baidignetti, Antonio Iovine, and Michele Zagaria were all sentenced to life in prison. Clan today. Michele Zagaria and Antonio Iovine jointly commanded the clan until the latter's capture and incarceration on November 17, 2010. The clan was thereafter commanded only by Zagaria, who was also caught on December 7, 2011. He was captured in a bunker near his birthplace. The Casalesi family is actively involved in the cement and milk sectors, as well as the worldwide drug trade, supplying narcotics to the Palermo Mafia and forming connections with Albanian mobsters and Nigerian criminal syndicates. Their combined assets are valued at about €30 billion. 6 African immigrants were shot dead in Castel Volturno on September 18, 2008, in what is thought to be a feud between the Casalesi and immigrant drug gangs. The next day, there was a riot, and the Italian government dispatched 500 troops to the region to cope with the Camorra violence.